Hey everybody, I'm Evan Hammonds for bloodhorse.com and welcome to After the Wire, brought to you as always by EquiAid, the makers of Bodybuilder and other fine natural products. Everybody knows not to put all your eggs into one basket. Many, yours truly included, forgot that lesson over the week as all the talk was about orb. A dangerous precedent had been set in the Preakness Stakes. Of the last 5 horses to be even money or less in the Preakness, after winning the Derby, 3 of them lost. And it played out again on Saturday, and for the record, let's make that 4 out of 6. Now, much was made of Orb drawing the rail in the 9-horse Preakness. Personally, we don't think it was that big of a deal. And as the race played out, I still don't think that was much of an excuse. Orb was lightly hemmed in from time to time, but he had ample room when it came time for him to make his move, and he didn't or couldn't take advantage of it. As we all know by now, Oxbow went to the front under Gary Stevens, and the fact he went unchallenged early made a huge difference. In the Derby, Oxbow was on the rail and chasing an opening half of 45-1. In the Preakness, he was loping along uncontested on the lead while setting an opening half of 48-3. Now, a dry, loose Pimlico dirt surface plays slower than Churchill Downs, even when it's sloppy, but the disparity in fractions is mind-blowing. Stevens had to have been grinning from ear to ear after setting successive quarters of 24-3, 24-3, and then 24-4 on his way to an opening 6 furlongs and 113-1. Also, at this point, Orb was more than 5 lengths back. Now, as mentioned earlier, Orb was along the fence for most of the race, but never really looked comfortable in that spot. And even after 6 furlongs, as the tempo quickened heading into the far turn, he actually lost position. It was apparent early on that it was not going to be his day. Meanwhile, even after the soft early splits, Stalker's Golden Sense and Titletown 5 had little to offer, leaving Oxbow all to himself to gallop down the stretch at Old Hilltop. Now, he bore out a little in the lane, but who cares at this point? He was up by 3 lengths at the 8th pole. It's My Lucky Day made it interesting for a few seconds, but was running for second, and My Loot put in a nice sustained run to get up for third. As is the case, more often than not, Derby runners ran 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there's reasons for that. Now, people get attached to the new kids in town, but you know what? The best horses qualify for the Derby, and they usually run to form in the Preakness. As for Oxbow, the signals have been there all season long. He has flashed brilliance in his young career with his runaway score in the Lecomte, a gritty 4th-placed effort in the Risen Star where he was beaten just a half length, and the head loss to stablemate Will Take Charge in the Rebel. Now, with Dwayne Lucas calling the shots, he'll get plenty of other opportunities this year to showcase his talents. The downer of the race was the final time, 157.54. That was the slowest since Kerry back in 1961. And it's interesting that the winning Beyer speed figure came back for the race at a 106. Now, before we go, congratulations to the connections of 50 Shades of Hay and her off-the-pace win in the Black-Eyed Susan. Coming off back-to-back efforts, finishing behind champion Filly Beholder, confirms the form of the West Coast fillies and confirms the form of the Oaks. I'd like to thank EquiAid. I'd like to thank you for watching. Now come back next week as we'll run through Belmont Park's big Memorial Stakes weekend.